Vive comment, bienvenue. Welcome once again to another live stream with the incomparable, the incandescent, the beautifully coloured Sally Inkster Find Brand You. She is a personal brand specialist. But we are talking today about a number of things that I call the miasma of self-destruction, that total circular whirlpool where you never can quite climb out because you're not entirely sure what it is you are about, what you do, who you are trying to affect, all of these questions. And I believe, Sally, it is one of your tenets that by going through the process of finding your personal brand, a lot of these questions will be answered.
Absolutely, they are. Because when you have a very structured way of looking at personal brand, the answers come from inside to affect the outside. When you take personal brand, people think it's talking about themselves, which it is, or showing yourself, which it is. But it has so many bits to it that, again, it feels as if you're in a whirlwind of, oh, I need to do this and I need to do that and I need brand photos and I need the website and how do I show that and what colours do I? And it's all just confusing. And if you put a structure to it, it takes you through a process and you go, get it. And you just go through an order, and at the end of it, it all becomes clear. And clarity is one of the biggest things, I think, that personal brand gives you, along with confidence, because it gives you confidence in yourself, in what you're offering, your actual business, how you do it, all those things. And that builds your confidence hugely, especially when because you're taking action. And then also content, because there isn't a business owner out there who doesn't go, oh, what on earth am I going to post this week? It doesn't matter whether they're in marketing or not. There's always that feeling. And your personal brand just gives you so many topics, gives you so much to discuss with like-minded people and your tribe who desperately need you, but at the moment they can't find you.
So the biggest problem we're talking about here is there's this notion of the tribe. That is people who are supposed to get what you're about.
Yeah.
But if they don't know that you are the person who can solve their issues, then they don't know what to look for. And if they don't know what to look for, they're hardly going to find you.
Exactly. Yeah. And they can't find you because if you haven't got absolute clarity down to where it is so boring to say it, and you think, oh, please, surely everybody knows that I say this by now, then they're only just beginning to understand it. So I always say personal brand, who you are, what you stand for, and how you help. I have been saying that for 8 years. It just comes off my tongue as if I'm saying you've got to take the bins out. It's just one of those things that you've got to do. And I think it must be so boring by now. I mean, I'm bored of it. But do you know what? People still don't completely understand what it is.
I think you have to repeat a new idea, 8 to 10 times before it latches. And that's only if people are actually there and listening. So, and sometimes I know this, I've seen it happen. You put a post out there and it's completely fallen on deaf ears. They've not been open to it, or maybe you put it in such a way that it doesn't latch with them. And I think perhaps you can short circuit a lot of it by having a very clear personal brand. If people understand what it is you represent, they're going to latch onto your ideas and potentially even accept new ones more quickly.
Yes. And I think you need to make things very, very simple. And most of us are very complicated people. Our businesses, to us, seem really quite complicated, and to others, they seem quite complicated because they don't understand the tech, they don't understand the jargon, they don't understand, and they're coming to you because they don't understand that bit of business. And so trying to make it really simple for people to be able to understand, therefore, then pass it over. Because when you're a business owner, you have to become a teacher, especially if it's something that other people might not understand.
Right.
And so you have to learn something and know your business well enough That's fine. You understand it. You know, my accountant understands all about accountancy. Believe you me, I do not. But she then has to put it into words. And for me, at about an 8 to 12-year-old's understanding of maths and accountancy, that for me to have absolutely any chance of understanding it.
Yeah. Do you know what? It's because she understands the essence of your brand, which is dynamism and color and show and drawing people in. And she also understands, perhaps, dare I say it, the other side of you, which is not to do with numbers or numeracy or accountancy or that sort of thing. I think it's understanding where the different parts of you are relevant and showing that within what you do. So that people, when they're drawn to you, feel comfortable during the process. I think comfort's a lot. I'm not talking about that sort of comfort that leads to complacency. I'm talking about that comfort that means you don't have to worry that a person's going to give you a bum steer, as it were. They tend to be.
I think the word rather than comfort you're looking for is safe.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll absolutely.
I don't think you need to be comfortable. And I think when you're doing personal brand, actually, you've got to be made slightly uncomfortable. But what you want is to feel safe. And to feel safe means that you can become uncomfortable.
Oh, right. Well, in the process of becoming uncomfortable, I suppose that means while you're discomforted, you'll be looking for change to acquire comfort. So
if you're just about to do a bungee jump, okay,
yes,
you are going to have to jump out of your comfort zone a long way. And the only thing that allows you to do that is because you have belief in the safety of the person who's teaching you to do it and how they put the harness on and they've attached everything to you and attached you to the rope and the crampon, everything that they're doing. You feel safe in the knowledge that they actually know what they're doing, even though you are going to take a leap, literally, into space.
Yeah, here's the thing. I know I would never knowingly put myself in the hands of a crazy Australian, tying ropes to my ankles or any other part of my body. But for those that do, it requires a certain level of trust, right? And
Absolutely.
I suppose you need to trust everything about them, from the way in which they obviously know their way around a rope or two, to the expert way in which they tie the knots around your waist, to the way they talk about their equipment. All of this is part of their personal brand.
Yes.
It's the fact that, I mean, if someone dressed in a three-piece suit was there, making sure his brogues weren't getting dusty, and they proceeded tight ropes when you'd probably say, I'd rather have the Australian, if you don't mind. It's just it's because the brand kind of epitomizes everything about you. And so many people I come across provide lots of mixed messages by the way which they present, the way in which they look, and every other part of their business.
Because the thing is, we're complicated, so we have lots of different sides to us. We have lots of different things that don't appear to other people to really gel together.
Right.
So when you take things, people have to understand you to understand why you do different things. Because
right,
when I work with a client, part of my personal brand that I do with them is to do a soul plan reading. Now
that you promised to tell me about this and explain what that means.
Okay, so a soul plan reading is based on every ancient reading, religion, belief, all put together. Okay, and it's based on it's a Star of David shape. So you've got a triangle pointing up and a triangle pointing down. Yeah, so you get that Star of David, but the Star of David is in every religion. And then what it looks at what we call the triangle going up is your spiritual life, and the triangle going down, obviously, is your earthly life. And it looks at your worldly challenges, your worldly talents, and your worldly goals, And then it looks at your spiritual challenges, your spiritual talents, and your spiritual goals. And they puts that together and gives you your soul purpose, why you are here. Now, it isn't based on any particular religion. It has a lot of symbology in there. It has a lot of numerology in there. And it's all based on the name you were given at birth. And depending what you believe or how you see it, is that when a child is in the womb, it's under the mother's soul. The moment it comes out, however you believe it, the soul pops in. It either chooses the child or the child chooses that. It doesn't really matter what you believe. But the first thing as humans we do with a child that has just come out and is a very new soul is we go and register their name. And there is so much energy put into that name because your parents have thought about it for 9 months. It has so much thought about every bit of that name, how it sounds, what it means, and then they put it on a piece of paper. So for us to take a soul replanning from the amount of energy that went into giving you that name.
How does that work for people like me who are adopted?
Wow. Adopted is one of those peculiar things. Depends on your age, but quite often we do one and then we overlay it over the top. If you don't know your very first birth name, that's fair enough. We'll use your adopted parent.
I do. I know my birthday.
Okay, so again, during that 9 months, they would have probably put some thought into it. Doesn't matter whether they did or not, but we put that and then we'd overlay it with your adoption name. Sometimes we overlay with a married name, but you don't have to. Adoptions is one of the anomalies on, you can perhaps do the two and go, which one is striking you as very true to your heart? And that can vary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this soul, what's it called? A soul?
Soul plan reading.
Okay. So once you've got your soul plan reading, how can we use this to help us?
Okay, so what it tells you is the challenges you had probably in your childhood, early teens, whatever, up to about 30. Because when we're 30 odd, 30, 35, 40, we start much more going, why am I here? What's my purpose? Was there something I meant to do? We start to question the spiritual side of life. Now, if you had an accident or you had an illness when you were younger, you might have started questioning earlier. But what we do, we can show you what your challenges you were given for a reason, because you were given talents, and your talents can help you combat your challenges to allow you to do your goals. And actually what happens invariably, people go, oh, how did you know that happened to me as a child? And I go, well, it's in your numbers, it's in your symbols, it's in your name, that's there. And they go, okay. And I said, but you've got this talent that will help you overcome that. And they go, yes, I know. And these are the goals. And quite often they may have been a teacher in a classroom. Right. And I go, yeah, I understand that, but your goals actually are talking about the written word. Have you ever thought about writing a book? And they go, do you know, when I was 26, I had this whole book planned and written out, but then something happened and I never did it. But you're absolutely right. That's what I should go back to.
Right.
So it's very enlightening. It's very empowering, and it's very uplifting.
Wow. Okay, cool. So how long does this process take?
It's somebody will give me their name as written on their birth certificate. Doesn't matter, you know, some cultures, the first name and the last names back to front, it's always the way it would be written. And that takes me a while to put that together, and then it takes me about an hour and a quarter to present it to the person, which then gets recorded and they get a recording of it.
Would you like to make this into a two-parter if I give you all my bits now?
What, you want to do yours live?
Well, I don't know. I thought, no, let's do it a two-parter. If I give you all the bits right now, so my birthday was Edward Douglas Godfrey.
Hang on, let me. God, you didn't give me any warning about this. Go have paper.
I know, but that's Edward Douglas.
Douglas.
Indeed, Godfrey.
Godfrey.
Yes, and my adopted name is Gareth David Alexander Wax.
Alexander
Wax.
Wax.
Like the polish.
Yeah. Okay, so Gareth with an E, David Alexander, yeah?
Yes.
ER. Okay. All right.
So, folks, the next one of this, Sally is going to go through this, and we're going to see, hopefully, that she sets me on a better course, gives me some useful information. Hopefully, you'll see me go ooh and ah a lot, and at the end of it, you'll have seen something of what this entails. So, if you want to go through this yourself, well, I'm just going to quickly pop up on the screen. On the bottom, you'll notice it says find out more about personal branding, but also about this as well.
It's on my website. It is on my website.
So perfect. So visit this, which is sallyinkster.com. Be sure to tune in for the next exciting episode where she'll hopefully have some interesting results. Yeah, there we go. But as ever, it just remains for me to thank you, Sally, for introducing me to new stuff I had no idea about. I love learning new stuff. And also, we tend to agree on most things to do with personal branding. As you may not have escaped your eye, we both have fairly strong personal branding. And there's a reason for that. But thank you once again, Sally. And guys, remember, keep your feet on the ground. Keep reaching for the stars. Please wear sunscreen. And see if we can't get through the rest of the week on a positive high and making sure you look after that mental health. Bye-bye now. And until next exciting episode next week, bye-bye now. Have a lovely weekend.
Bye. Take care.